Okay, this episode was hype sauce. Like, it was insanity. The pacing just, the second half of this episode went in. Yo. This is the crowds that I know and love. Insight is going in. This shit was insanity. But before I even talk about all the stuff we get this episode, RUI, one of the 10 grand kings of trap, is lying in a pool of his own blood, just utterly wrecked. For what? Because of your stupidity? Because of your blinding idealism? What the fuck were you thinking handing Suzuki the notebook? Like, why would you give it to him? You know, first of all, we know how important that shit is. You saw what happened to Joe when Katze ripped the shit out of him in the first season? Paimon specifies, my boy Pai Pai says, JJ takes out your soul and forms the note based on it. The note goes, you go. That's the source of your power. What the? We can get to, Rui's heart is in the right place. And I fucks with Rui. It's not even about that. I've always had this back and forth when I'm like, you are a good person, but you're fucking retarded. Like, I can't help you. Like, regardless of his heart being in the right place and, you know, his ideals being just to a fault, he's blinded by, like, how are you going to try and find the best in a man who just threatened to murder a shit ton of people just to get you to surrender and give up the crowds? And you give him the note on top of that? Because what, you see the good in him and you want to trust him and believe in him? You're lucky Tsubasa's on scene right now. You're lucky Tsubasa was able to transform and she's the only one that wasn't, you know, willing to let you go down for your pride and your ideals. Hajime was just lingering. I don't even know what the... Hajime... That's why I love Hajime, though. That's the thing. Hajime is fucking persona. It's just too... Like, that's the fact that, like, when Gil makes these bubbles, her shit comes up great, like fucking Tsubasa's, you know, Gatchaman, because... You just can't, it's just utterly ridiculous. The level of morality that resides within her is so ambiguous at the same time, where she befriends Katze, man. Katze is up inside her, you know, chilling at her breast, and she's been talking to him for a minute. He's saying all kinds of terrible things about how, you know, Rui is getting destroyed, and how he's cheering for Suzuki and whatnot, and Hajime's like, shut the fuck up, Katze. I'm just like, yo, Hajime's fucking amazing. But that's neither here nor there. Gatchaman Crowd's Insight, Episode 3. Let's not get back to the Rui getting wrecked shit right now. Let's not get to that level. Let's just talk about how utter hype sauce the second half of this episode was. Like, the pacing in the first half was good. We get everybody's introduction, getting, you know, Tsubasa and Gatchaman really situated within the crew and everything like that. But not much really transpires in the first half except for, you know, dialogue between Joe and Rui kind of, you know, testing his ideals already. And I'm like, yo, Joe has a point. This is exactly what VAPE was founded for and what Suzuki is trying to prove. The human beings are not ready for this technology. And I kind of agree and go from the realistic approach and my persona, I kind of agree with Joe and Suzuki on this kind of side of things. You're being utterly, you know, your idealism and your faith in humanity is a bit to a fault. It's a bit too extreme. You believe wholeheartedly in every individual when it's just misplaced. Look at Suzuki, for example. Look what happens to you as a result of this, first of all. Maybe people aren't ready for the crowds. The way you're trying to update the world and evolve everyone, yes, it's a good push. It's definitely a good push. But it might not. It's not. Everything's gonna have its flaws. Everything's gonna have its holes, and things are not gonna work out as perfectly and as well as you think they are. But I see his heart, and I've seen it since the first season. I understand it's in the right place and what he's trying to do, but it's very the clash of ideals. Like, both sides have a point, and you can't really put your finger on what is the right path to go. All I can do, for me personally, with this series, and all I've ever done with crowds, is just ride Hajime. Because Hajime, whatever Hajime is trying to do, I'll accept it, because you can never pinpoint. She's so fucking volatile. She's so, you know, kind of aloof, and everything that she does has this deeper meaning and purpose behind it. And once she enacts it and you actually read into it, I'm just like, yo. And right now, she's just kind of teetering in the middle, doing absolutely nothing for these first 3 episodes, compared to the impact and the presence she had first season. But I really think that's a result of, you know, bringing in Tsubasa, trying to give her some characterization. To me, she feels like a bootleg Hajime, but with a strong sense of justice alongside, you know, along the lines of what Joe has, and, you know, his ideals about heroes and everything like that. Hajime is much more open-minded to everything than that. But, you know, it's been a lot more characterization for them, for Gel, and for the state that, you know, society has gotten to thanks to X and crowds and everything like that, and Galax. So seeing Hajime take this kind of backseat with, I still love the dialogue between her and fucking Katze. That shit just gets me dying every time. But she needs to have more of a force and more of a driving presence. Like, even in this episode, while she was going in for sure along everybody else, when it came down to the part of RUI getting wrecked, I could see everybody's side in it, from, you know, OD and what he was saying, to Tsubasa wanting to save her. You see my girl Utsutsu trying to rush over there. And while Hajime seems concerned, she doesn't really move. And even during RUI, you know, screaming at them to, like, stay away, it's almost like she's too much in the middle with the things that she's it's really just a matter of me not being able to put my finger on, you know, what she's actually thinking at this stage. So I just want to see what moves Hajime makes going forward. That cliffhanger is fucking brutal though, man. Like, Tsubasa appearing and we get to see some of her abilities. She finally truly transforms. She's using the fireworks to, like, step off of each other. She has the wings and shit. I'm like, yo, she's beast. It's a beast, Gatchaman. This beginning of this episode, I mean, the beginning of the battle and everything with VAPE this episode, when shit was going in, was crazy to me just because I saw two things that I've been dying to see. First of all, Utsutsu using more of her power. We see her using her clone ability and everything like that. I'm like, yo, shit's fucking amazing. And then we finally see RUI transform in this episode, and that gets eclipsed by the very fact that he gets wrecked and, you know, does this stupid shit. But fucking abilities are beasts. He has these, like, Narukami lightning abilities and whatnot. He's traveling through the Denpa waves, you know, to teleport via that terminal on his back and whatnot. I'm like, yo, that's a fucking beast suit. That GATCHA suit is dope. So shit was going crazy with the VAPE attack at the end of this episode. That cliffhanger, I want to find out what happens, dude. This is the pacing, this is the insanity of crowds that I love, and I really want to know. Honestly, my biggest thing right now, RUI could very well die, and I thought he was going to die just straight up like that. I was going to be like, yo, this shit's insane. This shit's fucking crazy. I think he's going to survive. My biggest thing right now, aside from Tsubasa proving herself for the first time and going in, I'm guessing she's going to save the day and save RUI. If that's not the case, I just want to see what moves Hajime is really trying to make at this stage and how she feels, because she doesn't really give us any insight into how she feels at this point. And that's what I want to know most. But anyway, that crowd's god sauce, that music, fucking animation was on point. Oh, that ending song, I can't get over it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this episode, and I'm out. Peace.